Nudity. Today's video will have copious amounts of doll nudity, and you kind of have to be okay with that or probably don't watch this video, because today's video is the long-awaited, many times asked for different dolls, but body review and comparison of the 10 MSD dolls I do have currently at the time of filming. These are from 10 different companies. I had filmed this video before and the file got corrupted. Fun. So let's go look at the dolls. Okay, so here they are, my 10 boys and girls just hanging out, being naked. I'm just gonna tell you who everybody is quickly, and then what sculpt their body is, and then we can take a deeper look into who is what. So this is a doll family H Chiyu. His name is Gray. This is a Miyu doll, Susanna. Her name is Red. This is a Gem of Doll Snow. Her name is Alaska. This is a Peakswoods Coonies. Her name is Lewis. This is an acdc Tink. Her name is Era. This is a Simply Meant to Be dohwee. His name is August. This is an elf doll, Dammy. Her name is Millie. This is a soul doll, Sean Head, but this is a charmdoll, MSD body. This is, oh, his name is Milo. This is Margot. She is a Peakswoods romantic Coonies head on a doll leaves dream body. And finally, we have Blossom, who I'm probably getting her a new head because I'm really not into the anime style. But anyways, doll's own head. It's a kid sky body. Yeah, so let's take a look at each of these beauties. Let's start in the front. So we're gonna start with Ren. Ren is on a 3-part torso. So this is Miyu's MSD. I don't know if they have 2 different bodies, but so for aesthetic, it's not bad. So my few complaints are that this 3-part torso does in fact cut her up a little bit, and I don't love that. But other than that, it's not too bad. She's more up and down than I normally like, but I do like my dolls to have different kinds of bodies, so that's fine. As far as posability, she's actually fantastic. So her ankles, she gets more range of motion than you would ever need in an ankle. She can point her toes and then she can put them so that her ankles are broken. I'm not sure why, but that's fine. She has double jointed knees. It's not the most beautifully sculpted double joint, meaning it's not, you'll see with some of the other dolls, they have really pretty sculpting in the legs that when they bend their knees, it's not just this straight peanut with this like jaggedy piece. But it does mean she can sit really nicely and pretty easily. Okay. She also has a swivel joint in her hip that pops out, and hypothetically, you should be able to kind of stick it up. It really doesn't stay very well, so if you try to like sit her like that, okay, the one time, okay, so this time it's staying, but usually it wouldn't. The 3-part torso is really nice in that I can bend her really forward. It's very unsightly without clothes on, but she is dressed 99% of the time, not right now, but she has these hip divots. So let me just come up a little closer. So inside her joint here, she has these like ridges, and it's really cool because you can kind of like lock them in, which means she holds her pose really well. So if you're leaning her, she's not going to snap back to center, which is nice. The same cannot be said for her chest joint, which has absolutely no ridges to catch on. So she does tend to lose poses there pretty quickly. Her elbows are double jointed and she can touch her face. I'm pretty sure all of my dolls can touch their face. So if I flip her, I'm messing up her hair real bad. Yeah, she can touch her face. She can touch like her shoulder, all of that good stuff. And her head gets a decent amount of motion, so about this much up, this much down, some tilt. So pretty good. Next up. Okay, this is the kid sky body. aesthetically, okay, girl, come on, come on, come on. Aesthetically, very meh. The boobs are like pointing in the sky, which I guess happens, but girl has no belly button. There is like a tiny, minuscule dot. There's not a lot of sculpting going on. It's very, very rough, which I get because it is a pretty inexpensive doll, as well as I don't like her posing at all. I don't know if it's because she needs to be restrung, but she can hold her arm poses okay, and she can almost touch her face. Actually, I lied when I said all my dolls could touch their face, but she really doesn't touch her face. And this joint does its own thing all the time. She's always leaning, and I don't know if it's because her head's big or heavy, but I usually just slouch her because it's the only way she seems to want to stay. She has a swivel joint that pops out in, like, hypothetically, but does not stay. See, she's falling open and I can actually see inside her chest cavity there. She has the double jointed knee, and again, it's just a straight peanut and it doesn't quite fill out. So you have this big gap, which is not so pretty. Lots of ankle flexibility. Again, like the Miu doll, you can practically break her ankles. Yeah, this happens a lot. So the little ankle joint pops out of the foot and you have to snap it back in. She sits okay, but because she's always wanting to like slouch and do strange things, I have to use her arms to support her a lot, so I'll slouch her like that. And then use her hands to kind of touch the ground and make sure she stays up. Yeah, so I'm hoping that maybe once I get her a smaller head, that she will not do that. I do have one on the way. It was just a practice head from Doll Legend, but I'm thinking I can make it, goodbye, I can make it pretty cute, at least as a placeholder, and sell this one because I'm really not into it. Yoink. Next up we have Margot on the Doll Leaves Dream body. I love this body. First of all, I think it's so cute. It needs a good clean, so ignore that. It's so cute, and again, all the specs will be here. But she's super cute aesthetically. I love the way this joint is made. I love the shape of the body. There's a bit of a curve to it, and the legs are super cute. Her swivel joint is interesting. It doesn't really swivel, but you can kind of pull it out and twist it. As well, it does pop out and stay out, which is really nice. The knee joint is a little nicer than the other two, where it's got this kind of shape out of it. It's not just the straight peanut. This doll also, may I add, holds poses incredibly as she kicks me. For the price of her, this is an amazing deal. I'm sure you've heard people say it, but the Doll Leaves bodies are so good. If you need an inexpensive body for your head, try and find one that will match. Like the normal skin or white, they're pretty easy to match. But it's beautiful. I don't have a lot of complaints about this. Good ankle mobility, not quite foot breakingly back, which is I don't need anyways. Good range of motion in the hips. Everything kind of moves smoothly. There's, wow, I really need to redo her blushing. She does get some lean, and she has a little ridge that helps hold her when she leans. Her arms stay pretty much where you put them, which is great. And she does touch her face really easily, and her neck, even so much like that. And like she's holding that, like I'm just shaking the doll, but she's not losing her pose, which is fantastic. As far as like head movement, I can't really comment too much on this one because this is not her original body. Not a whole lot of tilt, but again, this head was not made for this body, so just keep that in mind. But aesthetically, it makes a really great hybrid. On to Alaska. This is the Gem of Doll MSD body. So I love her in that she's very sturdy. She's a very heavy doll, and she's like thick. She's not like chunky at all, of course, but she's kind of more like real human proportioned. And I really like that about her. She's just like, she's nice to hold. It's a really nice size doll. Now, The arms have good motion and she can touch her face, touch her neck, all of that. So that's great. As far as head motion, she gets quite a good range. She can look really up, kind of down, and then she gets like some tilt, which is nice. Her chest joint is great. So it's got little nicks that help hold her. Of course, it's not going to do it now, but it usually does work pretty good. And then in the back, the same thing. As well, you don't get a really obtrusive bump when you're leaning her, which is really nice. Double jointed knees, they're super solid. Again, everything about this doll feels solid and well made. She doesn't bend, like she doesn't sit back quite as far as some of my other dolls, and her ankles don't have as much motion. But I can get her to sit back on her heels. She stands incredibly too. I don't know what would knock her down. But here is my complaint. The swivel joints are fine, but this hip joint, now, doesn't it look non-threatening and non-suspicious? Okay, but what is that? I get the point is that when she's sitting, it locks and it makes a smooth line. Like, I appreciate that. I understand what they were going for. The reality is that this happens all the time, where her hip pops out and it like twists to the front and her leg is suddenly backwards and it's a pain to get it back. So I wish that didn't happen. I wish she had any other hip joint in the world, but besides that, I do really, really like this body. I would not buy another one simply, like, unless I really love the doll, I guess. But simply because of this hip joint that drives me absolutely bananas. But it is a really pretty body, so. And if you are looking for an MSD size doll that just feels like heavy and nice in your hand, this is a good one. Another one of my favorite girls. This is my Peakswoods Coonies. She's again on the Peakswoods body in suntan. I don't know if this is the current tan they do. She might be a little bit older. I did get her secondhand, so. I love the sculpting of this body. She looks very athletic to me. I think she's great. I love her collarbones. I love the shaping in her neck. Her hands are glorious. So, like, I love everything about Peakswoods' hands and the positioning. This is their default blushing, by the way, if you're interested. And this is their company face-up. So, she gets a lot of range of motion in her head. Let me move her down so you can see. Lots of tilt. Can look down. Lots of good stuff like that. Her arms, I think she needs to be restrung, at least her torso, because her arms are not holding right now. But normally they would. Yeah, I think so, because her hands are pretty loose too. But she can definitely touch her neck and her face. Her arm almost fully doubles up. Her chest joint is really great too. Look at this. So there's this like bend, and look how smooth that is. That is so beautifully done. The back is not quite as beautifully done, but still no bumps, no weirdness. There's a seam line there because she is in the tan skin, but that is the best like chest joint engineering of any of the dolls I have. I think it's beautiful. 10 out of 10 would recommend just based on that chest joint. But she does also have swivel joints in the hips, a good range of motion, and this is the single jointed body, so she only bends to about here. But the double jointed body is really similar, but with a double jointed knee, so I can only imagine it being better. And she's wearing her heel feet now, but she does have a good range of motion on those. And she can pretty much stand almost flat-footed with her heel feet, but overall, one of my favorite sculpts. I love her to pieces. Boop. All right, you know it. If you've been around, this is Era, my acdc Tink. Her body, her face, everything, that's my favorite. That's my jam. I love her so much. She's so curvy, and she has this cute little like chubby tummy line, but like she's not chubby, but she's got like the chubby tummy line, and she's so curvy in the legs, and because of the way her hips are, you can even make her a little curvier, like in clothes. If you stand her like that, she gets even more of an hourglassy, like big hip, thick thighs look to her. Besides that though, great range, decent range of motion in the head. Her wig sliding around a bit. Her arms hold position really well, and they bend and she can touch her face. She doesn't hold it as nicely as the Peakswoods girls, but I can kind of lock her hand behind her neck and then she'll hold that pose. Her chest joint's really nice. She unfortunately does have a lot of gapping, so in that sense the Peakswoods doll is nicer. As well on the back, she has nothing really holding her, and she does get gapping there too. I wish that didn't happen, but it does. She has a beautifully sculpted booty and like booty dimples, like the back dimples. I just think it's so cute. Also, her booty's really shiny, but anyways. This hip joint is my favorite thing. It's so, like there's so much movement and you don't have to pull it out like with the, like you do with the other dolls to lock, to get it like up here. She's looking away. Which is fantastic, and she can really easily hold poses where she's sitting or, you know, like this. She's double jointed in the knee, and it's one of the prettier joints for knees. You do see the hole here, but it is what it is. But what I love is because of her hip and leg movement, you can so easily like cross her legs like that, or she can sit like this really easily, and she'll hold that, which is amazing. As far as foot movement, she has quite a bit, not broken ankle movement, but quite a lot. Can point her toes, etc. And she stands super duper well, so I'm pretty happy with her. It's Millie's turn. Also, yes, I changed her faceplate. I've had it forever. She originally wore it way back when I used to call her Phoebe, but she's still Millie. And I really love it. And I realized, also quick note, I had redone her face up quite a while ago on her like awake sleeping head, or her awake head, and I added really prominent like eye creases, and it ruined her look. And I finally, by switching her faceplate, realized what I had done to ruin the look. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the eye creases on her other one, but for now, last girl on the list, this is Millie. She is the elf doll, lovely doll. Dammy, she is a long since discontinued sculpt. She's very old. My oldest doll for sure, and also probably one of my own like the most expensive. I don't love this body. I'm gonna be honest. It is adorable to look at. She's super cute, minus the extremely, like her nipples are pretty extreme and they show in all her clothes. She's always cold. She has really good range of motion in her head, like very expressive, up, down, etc. She can't touch her face. She can get her hand to about there. Her hips will go up like this, and she's double jointed in her knees. It's a very rough double joint, and there you can kind of see into it, and it doesn't hold, like she doesn't sit back on her legs at all. As well, there's not very much, there's lots of up motion, but almost no down motion for her feet. So you can't actually have her point her toes. But the bane of my existence is this, look, it's already doing it. So this thing has a mind of its own. I've restrung her a few times. I will probably have to suede her at some point, but she's always wanting to lean, like forever leaning. The one nice thing is, yeah, there's this bump here which holds her in this, like, so she can lay on her belly or like be a bobsled. I don't know. But there's nothing on her back holding her. She just does her own thing. Again, I will probably never ever sell her because I just love her so much. She was the original doll that stole my heart. Okay, on to the boys. We're just gonna take Gray here. First up is my Doll Family H Chew. He is on the Doll Family H body. His specs are here. So aesthetically, I think it's really cute because his face is so soft, but his body, like boy's been working out. It's like even his thighs have like muscling. His arms, like he has raised biceps, like, and triceps. So he has a very strong sculpt, and it like continues through the arms, which doesn't always happen. Now, as far as posing, his head has a lot of tilt, so you can bend a lot, side to side, a little tiny bit back and forward. He holds his arms pretty well, and he can touch his face. Also, how awesome are these hands? Aren't they the cutest things you've ever seen? He's so cute. Okay, chest joint. He has the bumps to help him hold on the front. Ooh, and on the back, he has a lot of these ridges, and he can bend really far with considerable gapping. But from the front, it looks nice. So just don't put him backwards when you do that, I guess. Here's a better example of, you can see his muscling a little better. Let's just, woo. And even in his back, you can see the muscling in his back. He is kicky, so he's doing his own thing. He likes to kick. He has a swivel joint here that you can pop out, and it actually does stay on pretty well. And he's double jointed. He also moves between poses really easily, so that's something nice about him. There we go. And he can mostly sit back on his legs. Because his thighs, like you can see the muscle beef there, he can't get all the way down. He does have a decent range of motion. He can point his toes like this, and then kind of go to a straight, like neutral foot position. It's August, sure, oh my gosh. Now it's time for August, who is gonna have a hard time fitting in frame. He is very tall. Again, here are his specs. As far as I can find, because the website is Korean, but he's a tall boy. From an aesthetic perspective, I think he's the cutest thing. He reminds me of any skinny emo boy that I might have dated in high school, but there's no junk, which is a plus for me. It might be a negative for you if you like them to be anatomically correct, but for me, all pants fit him, and that's a beautiful thing. So I'm really pleased about that. As far as his neck, he does not get a lot of up and down motion. He does get an okay amount of tilt. He holds his arms really well, like all his arm positions, and he can touch his face. And he's super cute when he does it. Okay, so his chest joint is pretty good. He's got the ridges there that help hold him, and it's pretty smooth, which I love. And at the back, it's like this crinkly design, which is neat, but it fits really well with the ridges that are built in, and he holds those poses really well. He has a swivel joint here, which I pretty much never use, but it's cute anyways. And his leg will come up to about there. This guy is like, he wants to be in the can-can, like do a can-can, I guess, I don't know, but he so easily holds very like tight-legged poses, so he can hug his knees right to his chest, like out of the box, which is incredible. The sculpting in his back is super cute too. He has a spine line and some shoulder blades, and then some really cute little butt dimples. All alone on the shelf. Come on, let's go. Finally, we have Milo. He is on a charmdoll body. He's a soul doll, Sean, but he's on a charmdoll body. Aesthetically, I think that this body is okay. It's cute. I think his chest plate's a little like flat for the amount of muscle tone he would have in his stomach. It's a little off to me, and it feels very short up his body. You see what I mean? However, he does hold his arm poses really well, in thanks to these ridges in his armpits. It helps him kind of hold at every level. He is double jointed and can touch his face. Like that. The hand sculpting is okay. the other elbow, yeah. His chest joint, there's not really any ridges holding him. I do like his ribbing though. Again, super short, so like no actual guy's shoulder blades, no human shoulder blades would be this small. They would come down to like here. So I don't like how high this is up, or that they did do like a continuation of it. It looks off to me. I do like the back of his knees. They're very flush. And again, he is double jointed. He's a little stiffer to get between positions though. But once he's there, he holds it really well, and it does get really flat, so he can sit back on his legs really well. At least for the boys, like he does it pretty well comparatively. His junk is sometimes a problem. It's not that big, but it hangs low. Like the other ones, their junk is kind of up. His is like, I don't want to be too graphic, but like it really does like kind of hang, so he can't really wear tight pants very well. As well, I wish his shoulders were a little wider. I feel like they're just a little narrow, and his collarbone is just like, this part of his sculpt screams skinny small boy, and then this part is like I go to the gym and work out. So it just, there's like a disconnect there for me. But you know, he's not too bad, and he does fit the soul doll head really well. So there's that. So let me know which body you like best and which ones you might have. If you have any comments about any of these bodies that I may have missed. Oh my god, there's direct sun. I'm gonna have to close the window. Please let me know in the comments below. I don't want to have missed anything. If you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, I post Sundays and Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope you'll like and subscribe so that you can be around for those videos. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day.